Welcome back. You are listening to Dishonored, Session 3, from NCRP Productions. Tonight again, Michael is running, Ty, Pedro, and myself are playing. On to the show. Alright, now we can talk.
Yay, we're here.
Yay.
All right,
Session
folks.
3.
Session 3. Well, technically Session 2, Part 2.
Session 2, Part 2, yes.
I'm good with that.
Yep. Well, because we're still in...
Are we all coming through good?
It looks
Coming
good.
through well.
Yeah.
Coming through well, yes.
Yep. Yeah.
Alright. So I got to look at the map even more. The map for Dunwall, absolutely England. It's Victorian England.
Oh.
And why do I know this? Because of the Unhallowed game. And even the bridges from the Unhallowed London are the same bridges. The rail lines are basically the same.
I looked at the one in the book. I was like, Unhallowed, huh?
A few things to mention about that map. Given the timeline of where we're at, this like I said, I was doing more like I said, my main knowledge about the world of Dishonored is through the video game, and which happens after doing my research in the timeline and everything here. The first game happens 10 years after the current events of what we're playing through right now.
The first video game.
Yeah, the first video game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we're 10 years before those events.
We are why the video game happens.
Maybe.
No, we will be.
I gotta play back
Power of positive thinking.
and remember what actually happened in the game.
Well, regardless, there are certain technological advancements that are in the first game that I remember, that I was like reading through the adventure and I was going like, why aren't these things here? And then I realized as I was looking at the time, like, oh, they haven't been invented yet. We are literally in the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, pretty much right now for Dunwall. The whale oil industry, booming. Literally, their first railway is going to be built a year from where this game we've just started starts. So there's at least one bridge in the map that you see a railway on that's not built yet. So lots of
Fucking awesome.
yep, lots of
Philippine mangoes and responsibly sourced dark chocolate.
all with the Kirkland brand. We are not sponsored by Kirkland.
We're just hungry.
But we do wish to be.
Costco,
Oh, wow.
if you're listening to
Right.
this,
That one Costco exec is listening. That's it.
This would be a great idea. Let's get a really, really, really amateur RPG. Let's get them money. Like dark chocolate covered mangoes at every meal.
I got a good feeling about these guys.
then they find out I used to be allergic to chocolate, and that's what makes everything fall through as far as the
Well,
brand
and that's
is
why it's all
concerned.
on our side of the table.
Yeah, exactly. Not anymore, though. I can definitely still eat chocolate, but that's another story. All right, but anyway, we are back to I'll just call it part 2 of the Oil Trail: War Within a Breath. Last session, you guys had seen yourselves go through the sewers, going all the way from the Coldridge Prison Refinement Center all the way to the other side of the river to the distillery district, where you've been brought in to a barn owned by one Marika Mahler, where you and the other prisoners and several other of your own countrymen were holed up there, given food, but on the condition you could definitely stay. But if you were going to stay, you needed to get a job. In which you all went and, from the suggestion, you went to the Greaves Lighting Oil Company, where you got to all see firsthand the growing pains of industry, especially a rapidly growing industry. Both in the fact of seeing like new advancements, but also the toll on the people involved, your fellow countrymen, older people children having to work the machines, but also beginning to realize there's a gang war in the distillery district between
Red versus blue.
the Bottle Street
Blue versus red.
the Bottle Street gang and the Hatters. After having a brief encounter, or at least two encounters, one below the sewers and one in the workyard with the Bottle Street gangs, you were approached by by your supervisor on the at the Greaves Lighting Oil Company, Michael Hogan, and brought to an inn, the White Clove Inn, where you had a discussion about the gang war going on and who the real enemy is. Those aristocrats, the ones that have been using your people for basically forced labor. Greaves, owner of the Greaves Lighting Company, and one Julie Coldridge, who was the person who introduced you to the prison from up high. After some discussion, you've all come to an agreement. We're going to have to try to find a way to see if we can unite the Bottle Street gang and the Hatters, and because united, we will be mighty. So before we begin, let's have a round of introductions. I'll start from my right. Go ahead and introduce yourself, your character, a little bit about your character, and we'll move forward.
Yep. This is Pedro. I am playing Norton Elton Smith, who was once a actual blacksmith. When he was young, he was an apprentice blacksmith to his father, who was a blacksmith. However, his father, after the death of Norton's mom by the hands of the Empire, got into the Morley Rebellion, and I have been in that from a young age until it ended, and now now I'm trying to restart it. Also, I'm very good with explosives. That's kind of my shtick during the war, and
This is Barry. I'm running Desmond Aquila again. I am by type an explorer, but having been caught in the uprising through the rebellion and having been brought to the prison, I'm with these guys. My connection with all three, or the other two, the three of us, our connection is Angus's bar, where we met on a regular basis, and all three, if I remember correctly, watched it burn to the ground.
yes, I do believe we all watched.
I think we did. And so last session, in addition to that, Desmond has some crazy ideas. Desmond is starting to realize that if we were able to take out the leader of the Greaves Lighting Oil Company and potentially insinuate one of the three of us in his stead quietly, so that it was a bloodless coup and bloodless transfer, more importantly, maybe we could really start a rebellion from within the city of Dunwall. At least that's what I'm thinking.
Well, I'm Ty, and I'm running Angus Fowlin, the owner of the bar that burned down. And honestly, at this point, I'm just kind of playing a human meat shield. I've got Scrawny and Adventure Boy here, and neither of them have really stood up much in a fight. They almost died in the whale oil explosion. And
Hey, in my defense, I do want to remind everyone that I was in the whale that exploded when it exploded.
Yes, but the true martyr of the whole situation was able to save you.
Yes, that's true. And that is something that we need to remember. The rebellion is for Jimmy Two Toes.
Jimmy Two Toes.
Jimmy
Two
Never
Toes.
forget Jimmy.
There we
Well, I
go.
appreciate the fact that none of you guys will forget me, even in death.
Does anyone else hear voices, or is that just me?
Oh, voices. One day it's talking about being a rat, and the next it's voices.
Well, for the record, I have had at least 7 bottles of this stuff by now. So,
That's
It
true.
Probably
is
a
true.
concussion or two, also.
So as a reminder, because we ended like halfway through the game, through the quote unquote part last session, there are 10 points of chaos I have to
Yeah.
spend, and you have 2 momentum in the pool as of right now.
Very good.
So we are now onto this scene. So you have you've all agreed with Michael or Mikhail.
Mikhail.
There we go. Mikhail. I hate saying someone that has a name very close or is almost my name. So, it feels weird. Anyway, so with the agreement, Mikhail sort of nods and buys another round for everyone, even though you have already gone on to your. It's now your eighth pint, for lack of a better term.
I'm fine.
Sure. But sort of gives every one of you a look as he goes there. It's like, okay. So, question is, before we get to discuss it now, best to bring these two gangs together. Maybe I should give you a little bit more insight into them, their wants and desires.
Insight round 2.
Mm-mm. So you see, Hatters originally came from a small fleet of seized Imperial whalers. Their presence isn't as strong here in the distillery. This is ultimately, if you have to split hairs on who really owns the territory in the distillery district, that's the Bottle Street gang. However, the Hatters are more interested in social justice, getting our people back up on their feet, being seen as more of equals among anything else, and to generally just improve the lives of us. You say the kids in the factory, right? We shouldn't be having to send our kids just to make sure their parents get fed.
As far as I could see, it looked to me like the kids were working right next to the parents.
Not all of them. No, and unfortunately, with some of the machines, well, let's just say that their hands are just the right size to be able to get right into the gears and some of those finer parts that we can't get into without some tools.
As an aside, I think Norton can get his hand in there now.
Haha. Yes.
Well, you have less fingers to lose than the rest of us, buddy.
Means I have more to lose. I keep trying to. Darn it! I keep accidentally imitating your voice. If you hadn't noticed.
All right, look. By percentage, I guess you have more to lose. But in reality, we each have pinkies to lose.
But yeah, no. So trying to at least improve the lives, make sure the kids at least have a future outside of just the factories. Bottle Street Gang, however, they're more interested in elevating their own position. They forged the way here; they might as well benefit it. They're trying to get leads on the current situation of the whale oil industry. As you've no doubt seen, it's a big boom. And anyone who can get ahead of that big boom is going to be riding high for quite some time. And the Bottle Streeters want in.
There are some amazing things we've already seen with whale oil, Leviathan oil.
And their livers.
And what?
Is that not? Oh, they're bladders. They're
Bladders.
bad joke. Never mind.
Keep drinking.
He's over there.
Keep
And
drinking.
livers.
Keep drinking, Angus.
Because yours is talking to you right now.
I see a bladder.
Well, that's good though. If they're interested in the whale industry, the Leviathan industry, that could be one of our ways in.
That's true.
I have some ideas on that one, but the thing is that the Bottle Streeters, they harbor the more violent side of our people. More violent sides of the streets around here. So, if anything, probably with some of these things, it's going to have to be some shrewd negotiating, or you're going to have to face, at least show that you're not going to willingly break under their own fists. You've already showed your reputation in the yard today, and I think that's going to at least give you guys at least a good reputation, at least enough for them to catch interest. Whether that's a good interest or not, it's another story. So, as I said, I had some ideas, but I'm interested in what you think so far. What do you think could be able to bring these two together?
Well, I mean, for the Bottle Streeters, if we bring the idea of taking over the industry, it seems pretty promising to them.
We install a couple of Bottle Streeters at the higher end. Potentially they get their raise and control the other half. It looks to me in a lot of cases where there's a leader, if that leader steps up, his gang steps up with him. But that leader is really looking out for himself. It seems that way to me, at least from what I saw.
I mean, we'd have to find some way to guarantee, because we don't want just another oppressor for our people. If they're gonna at least, want to uplift the rest of us, unless we need to also plant hatters in there too. Ideally.
This is true.
Uh,
If the Hatters were able to maintain their position in Dunwall, while the Bottle Streeters were able to move into positions of power, that would probably fill what both of them need.
Hatters on the street, Bottle Streeters on the inside.
On the inside, exactly. And if we can do it quietly, rebellion from within.
Ultimately, everyone wins.
Angus, what's your thought?
I mean, if all else fails, we can find one of both sides of, like, one of their big bases of operations or whatever. You have to destroy both those sites, and you got to find a way to pin it on Greaves. That gives them a mutual enemy.
Interesting.
That's at least my thoughts on it, though I just kind of want to blow something up at this point.
Well, that is certainly a way to do it.
And Michael gives a kind of like uncomfortable.
I think we should do this more civilly, though.
Mikhail, your ideas?
Hey, you asked for my opinion. I don't know what you want.
A better opinion.
Yeah, I was going to say a good one.
I thought it was a decent enough idea.
Well,
barmaid, another round over here.
I don't do it anymore.
another
Maybe
round
just
comes
one more.
Shh, just sip.
The Michael sort of rubs his chin for a moment and goes, "To be fair, none of those are bad ideas."
See, Angus,
No.
even he thinks it's not a bad idea.
And even though he does give Angus a kind of like sort of like a concerned look, especially with the thought about like let's just blow it all. I just want to blow something up kind of thing. It's like, oh, okay.
No, we're the people for the job. Don't worry.
I'm
Hey,
honestly
you're the one
surprised that-
always spouting on about how we need to do what's necessary, and I think that's completely necessary.
Well, I just like the fact that he was the one who brought up blowing it up and not you, Norton.
I mean, I guess you can have my bomb making supplies. And you won't
Not
need me
now.
anymore.
Not now.
Well, there's a few things I know about each of the problems that each of the gangs having, or at least certain things that might be of interest to them. So, you guys handled yourself pretty well in the yard back there. How good are you? But how good are you at really fighting?
Angus?
We talking just fists, or do I gotta grab a musket or whatever's in this universe? Because I don't actually know what's in this universe.
He is really here.
He's pretty she's with barmaid, another one.
Stop getting me more drinks!
I may have to have you roll a survive.
And that's how Angus passed.
Right.
No. But anyway,
This is seriously me not knowing how this universe works. Is
I
there-
gotcha. There are pistols, there are
Okay,
guns, and
flintlock,
there are swords.
basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
He goes, the Bottle Street gang have some underground fight rings.
This just went dark.
I
Not
did
bad.
tell you they were the more violent side the society didn't die.
We got a champion for that.
Dude.
Yeah. Most of the fighting rings happen in a series of abandoned storage tunnels in the distillery district. If at least one of you guys sign up, maybe put a few of the reigning champions through their paces. I think that might get some attention. Might even put you in a face-to-face position to speak with the head of the local gang.
I wonder if we already have.
How do you...
I'm just thinking the group that we met down under.
Or do you think the leader would have been tromping through the sewers?
Possibly. I'm uncertain, but...
Well, if it is, then we'll at least have a second in with your...
With Eldon?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
I think that's at least as good a place as any to start. We got a fighter.
Yep.
Woohoo!
Well, like I said, might take a little bit more convincing, but if you're looking for something a little less violent,
No.
something to do with...
Apparently we're set on the violence.
I would like to hear what the other option is.
Well, depends on how good your thievery skills there are, or whether or not you can put something in a more better competition. So, any of you heard of Dr. Warren?
Can't say that I have. No.
Not even remotely.
I'll have you guys actually roll me. Go ahead and roll me study. Study cleverly.
Nope. Not a clue.
Missed it
Never
by
met the guy.
twice.
Is he
2
here?
11s, I needed 10s.
Clever study. Clever...
Yes, it's a clever study.
Yeah, okay, so I got 1 success.
Okay, well, it makes sense that you would know. You two doesn't ring a bell.
Is he here?
Sure,
You-
I've been out of the area for a while,
Yeah.
so...
You, given your background as an inventor and stuff like that, you've been looking into like your tinkering device and stuff. You're maybe more in explosives, but Dr. Warren, that name rings a bell. Not to the same level as another man by the name of Sokolov, but Dr. Warren has been someone who's been flying under, more known in Dunwall. But he's definitely been on the he's definitely seems to be on the cutting edge of the whale oil industry, coming up with new designs and contraptions. In fact, most of the cranes that have been bringing the whales and stuff in to keep the bodies relatively intact, so that you can dissect them and extract what needs to be out of there, is mostly Dr. Warren's designs.
So, yeah, I'll reiterate that. Wait. Dr. Warren. He's the one making all the whale tech, all the big stuff.
Really?
Yeah, in my time as a tinkerer, you hear these things, and yeah. What about him?
Well, while he may not be any Sokolov, who's the one who really cracked the code with the oil industry, Warren rumor has it Warren's working on a new extractor design for the oil, something that'll be easier to get the oil out, more efficient, less risk of labor. Really start pumping out oil in a massive degree. The could be worth a fortune if presented to the right entrepreneur for the right moment. However, the Battle Street gang wants that extraction design.
To what end? Any idea?
To be on top of it.
Yeah, but they wouldn't be. If they're a worker class, they'd never be able to utilize it in any way, at least any beneficial way.
Well, like I said, to the right person, it could be worth quite a bit. And presenting such a design and getting the right backing could elevate their position. As I said, they're only interested in really themselves. Even that doesn't necessarily put them in a position of power, the more financially stable they are.
Well, we
Well,
barring
what
that there may be more, we could check into this design, and if that is something to be used in addition to or along with our meeting with the Bottle Street Gang, that could be a pretty little...
So my question, though, is this. If you know about all of this, and Mikhail, if you know about all of this, how many other people know? If we were to say, get those plans, leaving this Warren guy either alive or not, wouldn't somebody question where the plans came from if the Bottle Street Gang suddenly started using it or selling it or creating it?
It's all about timing and about who's actually seen the plans. No one's actually seen it. There's just rumors about the designs.
It's always easy to make a few changes. Hell, I could
That's
probably
true.
even build it if I get the plans.
The real question comes down to whether you want to be the ones to present it to the Bottle Street Gang, or you give it to the Hatters to give the Hatters something to entice the Bottle Streeters in.
Not a bad idea.
It's a good idea, Mikhail.
We could even bring it to them under the guise of the Hatters wanting it. And you, Mikhail, have a way in, or a way to find it, or a direction for us?
Well, I at least know where Dr. Warren's labs, where he lives and where he tends to do most of his work and study, but the rest might have to be up to you. Last thing I've heard about the Bottle Street Gangers having issues with is they used to have a weapons dealer in the civil district. Stopped supplying them ever since they were kicked out by the City Watch. Since you guys aren't wearing, Bottle Street or Hatter colors,
Nope.
maybe you could pay that dealer a visit and get at least one last shipment out of them for the Bottle Street gangs. Might at least encourage them to look at you a little kinder.
So, my understanding, the idea would be we'd have to sneak in or get access to him, cut a deal with the weapons manufacturer for an exchange one last time, and moving under the guise of what? The Dunwall Guards?
That's up to you.
I gotta ask Mikhail, what makes you think that would even work? Do we even know why they closed off dealings with the Bottle Street, or is it simply the fact that they were
The guard
stopped?
kicked the guard kicked them out. The guard was watching them too closely, and if you haven't noticed, Bottle Streeters aren't necessarily subtle types.
No.
So they just can't get in to do business. Well,
Not that the business isn't there to be done.
That's about how much I got for the Bottle Streeters. Hatters. Well, there's been another gang the Hatters have been having some dealings with. The Dead Eels. And patrolling the sewers under the distillery district. You didn't run into them from what I understand. You ran
Never
into
even
Bottle
heard of
Street
them.
rooms. Yeah.
I only thought there were two groups. What are they, green?
No, they, you can tell by their eel scale and belts.
Okay.
Regardless, they have been causing some trouble for the Hatters. That little underground passageway? You guys got one of the lucky passages. The dead eels have been sort of making it a bit difficult to move some of the more needy foot groups around town. There might be a few ways you could get rid of them, but if you could get them to at least stop being around in the underground in the sewers.
And this would help the Hatters. This sounds like it would help the Bottle Streeters more, somebody else on their turf. You said they're in the distillery district. That's the same district that the Bottle Streeters theoretically run, and both of them are running the sewers.
No, I think. Well, I wouldn't say that the Bottle Streeters are running the sewers. I just think they got more interested in, your little escapade on what got you out by the guard.
Got it.
Yeah. And you're right. Maybe removing the dead eels might help the Bottle Streeters as well, but it would definitely help the Hatters a lot more.
To move through the sewers. And do you know why they're moving through the sewers?
You had to move through the sewers, didn't you?
Plus, the Bottle Street
point.
gang's up on the top.
Yeah, good point. Good point. The Hatters can then move in seclusion. Got it.
And you're staying with Marika Muller, aren't you?
We can neither confirm nor deny that.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Dear God, that's not how you not confirm.
Is that her name?
Barmaid!
He's thinking too much.
Every so often, he swims to the top.
We just gotta push
Gotta
that
push
in.
him back down.
I'm insulted by this entire conversation.
Are you sure you're part of the conversation?
No.
I didn't think so.
Do you still think you were a rat? Yes.
Rats are people too.
Oh, that sounds like someone who's been taken who doesn't have enough to drink.
That's what that sounds like.
I'm about to clonk you guys over the head with these bottles.
All right, catch up.
Well,
Let's say, Mikhail, for the sake of argument, we were staying with her. What were you thinking?
well, rumor has it, like most of her supplies are running a little low, mainly for the food stocks for people.
Who are mostly Hatters?
Well, yeah, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yep. Oh, you don't know.
We don't know. That's why I just asked.
I don't know.
Marika's one of the lieutenants of the Hatters.
Mikhail's telling us this?
Yeah.
Gee, okay.
That sounded like important information that we should have heard at the beginning of this conversation.
We
Well,
did. We just heard it. It's the beginning of the conversation. Oh, miss!
Well,
I think Angus is done with this joke.
Well, and we're not surprised. Honestly, you probably didn't know. Doesn't necessarily mean that she's not necessarily the most trusting to new folks, especially people who were part of the insurrection.
Understood.
So,
Although our involvement in the insurrection was fairly short and limited.
well,
I didn't say it wasn't deadly, I just said it was short and limited.
well, if you can manage to get in good with her, it might go a long way to getting to convincing the rest of the Hatters as well. See, the granaries are running low, from what I hear.
Her granaries or the granaries in Dunwall?
Her granary specifically.
Grain heist.
The grain reserves are running out.
The great grain robbery. I like it.
Yeah. If you can manage to get either find a way to fill supplies, siphon off from other granaries or some other method, I leave that up to you. But that might go a long way with helping the Hatters as a community as a whole and ingratiate you with her a little bit more too.
Makes sense.
Now, we talked about how the Bottle Street gangers pretty much run the distillery district. Yeah, they're more interested in their own little institutions of power rising up for themselves, but they're really neglecting the Morian communities.
Yeah. Sounds like if we have to take out one of these guys, it should be them.
The Hatters or the Bottle Street?
Bottle Streeters. All they care about is they basically want to become the next aristocrats, and we don't like the aristocrats, I think.
We don't like the aristocrats, but it's also better if none of the Morleans have to die.
Are they even Morleans? They're spending their entire time.
Yes.
Yes, historically they started as such.
Even an asshole Morlean is still a Morlean.
That I can't argue with.
Well, I would say, notice we didn't kill those guys in the yard today. There's several other reasons why not, but all at the same time, we could have.
This
Anyway,
one
McMail.
This one might be the more labor-intensive one, but might be the one that has the less risk of what I've been doing here. See, the communities are just needing help, especially with the influx of captives from Morley. And many of the escaped refugees, such as yourselves, hiding in the district, just put your sweat and tears into it. Maybe brighten up the communities out a bit, fix some leaky roofs. Make yourselves known around the community. Might get the Catters more on your side.
You can build stuff, can't you?
But I can build a lot of things, not just explosives.
Ah. Sure.
As I said, there's only a few ideas.
This is a good lead. This is a good place to start.
So, gentlemen, where you go is up to you at this point.
I'm gonna go outside.
Okay.
And do you?
No, I stumble out of my stool and just kind of land on the floor.
That's what I was expecting. Okay.
I'm gonna go out.
He's done now.
Okay. Did you
He's
count
full.
how many drinks that was? I forgot to count.
By the way,
I'm going with
forgot,
9.
I forgot everyone. Make sure you add another void point.
Ah, that's right. Beginning of the game, you get 1 void point. Up to your maximum.
Which at this point is 3, unless you bought an increase to your.
I don't think any.
void
Oh,
reserves.
you're saying the 3 as far as your maximum.
Yep, 3 is your maximum unless you bought the XP to increase your reserve max.
I do believe I am going to need help standing up. Or moving in any way, shape, or form.
Mikhail sort of looks down at you at this. You're basically like drunk out of your mind, and sort of looks at the other two. He goes,
He's capable.
I trust that you will be taking care of this with the utmost seriousness.
We
Absolutely.
will.
I'm totally serious. Let's
We
go.
will.
Are we blowing something up tomorrow? Is that? I thought that's what we decided.
All right, let's help him up. Let's get him home. Angus, hold those thoughts. They're great thoughts. Hold on to them.
Got it. I'm holding
Never mind.
on to something. You guys are good friends. I'm glad to have you guys around.
Getting close to a spit take there, huh, Pedro?
Let's have a flashback to Jimmy.
Right.
We really are good friends.
You guys make your way out of the inn, possibly back to the granaries where it's to bed, especially for our
Wait, you
drunken
just said the
friend.
granaries. Is that where
Well-
the district we're in?
No, you're in the distillery district. The granary is where you guys were staying with.
That's what I'm saying. So
Maria,
we're
the barn.
So,
Yeah.
huh. And that's her place.
Mm-hmm.
That's the woman who potentially needs more grain.
Yep. And that's where you guys were escaped to, and we're in the safe house of. So.
Perfect. Okay. I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, because this suddenly feels much easier. Getting grain from the granaries that we're in.
Well, she's the one who needs.
The granaries are already running out.
No. There's her granary is running out. The others are what we need to get the grain from.
Are all the granaries in the same granary district, or are we talking about we're in her granary and we're having to go to another granary somewhere else?
That's mine.
Yeah,
That's you guys are staying at her granary. That's where
Okay.
you guys have been staying.
We need to
for
find a
while.
way to get grain from other granaries to her granary
Yeah.
without them knowing.
Okay. Seems to me like that's probably the best option, at least for a start.
At least for getting in.
I mean,
the Hatters.
so what we do need to do is we still gotta work too.
This is
So
true.
do our job, find out what needs to be done,
I like
scout
my
out for
job.
granaries.
I have a good job. I'm good at my job.
Okay, shh. I tuck you in.
Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome. Shush.
You almost swear you hear a lullaby too. It's that sound of whale song, Angus. That whale song that
Outside, are you gonna show up tonight?
Wait, we're all hearing the lullaby, or he's
He's hearing the lullaby. You just heard him go, outsider, you showing up tonight?
I'll look up real quick. I see red eyes. Okay. Yes, maybe he will. And then-
We'll tuck him in.
yeah.
And then I just pass out.
You got that in tight.
Yep, he ain't moving.
He's not falling out.
I'll tilt his head to the side a little bit. I was like tucking completely flat.
Like a straight jacket.
Another way that he died. Oh, great with bombs, bad with swaddling. Not again. Okay.
So, what do you guys wish to do?
So I'm thinking, Norton, maybe you and I, we take a trip to Granary sightsee.
I think scouting out some granaries is a good place. I think a good place to start would be with the Hatters. If we can get the Hatters all squared away and on our side, then we can get those plans, offer it to the Hatters as a chip.
You mean offer it to, right.
Yeah,
Hatters
offer
as a
the
chip
chip.
to be given to, yep,
Yes.
yep.
And then with that, we can then do the... Then I feel like we go have Angus go in the fighting ring. We get a meeting with him. We, if it all works out, be able to offer that, as well as offer our services for good faith to see if we can strike a weapons deal. That way, they use that as a way to show we are trustworthy. After we do that, we can let them know that the Hatters... Oh, you know, it might not be a good idea for us to let them know the Hatters have that as a chip. We should let Marika and the other leaders there parlay with that. Or... Because I don't want them to think that we're trying to play them. We'll have to work out on the kinks on that one.
You came up with all of this on the walk home from the bar?
It's amazing when you're
I would
only
say
2
a-
sheets to the wind.
I would say half of it while tucking in Angus, but yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Nope. Sounds good to me. I think we start with granary exploration.
All right.
The gang scouts out granaries.
One moment, please.
It's just a montage of me setting explosives.
Right. Why exactly are you studying explosive, Norton?
I just like to have them around town. Know they're there. As security.
Just casually setting explosives.
And then I'm imagining like a giant switchboard that like the nameplates are like accidentally get scratched off or switched around. And I don't know which one is which. But
You have
then-
everyone cleverly marked with a different colored feather. And then somebody opens the door and whoosh, there goes
Well, it's still in my mind. I'm gonna put the bomb back.
What are you, a Gotham villain? If you do this, I will...
I can neither confirm nor deny that, but it does seem that way.
Gotham inspired.
Yeah.
Just as soon as someone is like...
Ollie the Orca! What an unexpected surprise! You see, I see that you're interested in what's going on in Dunwell. I too am very interested in the whale oil. Wait a minute, Ollie the Orca. Oh no! Oh, Ollie, this is going to be a very unfortunate circumstance for you. See, I've been building all these whale traps.
Oh my god.
Unfortunately, now Dr. Warren has been revealed as his name.
Oof.
And it can't be the penguin, he's got to be the puffin.
Oh my gosh, what are we, the Marvel knockoff?
Please.
All right. So,
Polly the Puffin!
Oh my gosh. Okay, what were we doing?
You were,
we were
sleeping.
sleeping.
Okay. Fair enough.
We were, let's see.
We're scouting and possibly setting explosives.
Well, you're gonna need supplies for explosives. However, you do work in an oil refinement.
Like I said,
Right,
skimming a little off the top.
So we going tonight?
Well, are you gonna go tonight? You have had a few drinks.
What do you think,
what
North?
time
We go
is it?
tonight or we wait till tomorrow?
I mean, well, one of you is like really.
I would
good.
say not tonight.
Okay. What I was saying is we simply scout. That is us strolling.
I'm more concerned about those Bottle Street Eels being out there and having to deal with them.
Very good. Okay. All right.
If we had Angus to do a little punchy,
Or at least be a meat shield.
or a meat shield, you're a good meat shield. I'll tap him on his head.
I'm the best meat shield.
Yes, you are.
I'm the bestest there is.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we'll pass the night unless something happens.
Okay, no.
Then
So next day,
Oh God, what did I do last night?
worst hangover.
You drank too much. You were unhinged.
What?
It actually feels pretty good. You haven't had a hangover this bad in quite some time, actually.
Bask in the hangover. Everyone shut up, I'm basking.
Oh gosh, why did you? I gotta go to work. Why did you guys let me drink that? Oh my gosh.
I kind of remember somewhere in there don't tell me what I can and can't do.
I feel like that's something you said.
Yep. It sounds like something you said.
It sounds like something.
Yeah, it kind of sounds something I'd say too, doesn't it?
It
All
does.
right. Well, I've worked drunk before, so let's go.
Did you run a bar drunk?
It's like mandatory to run a bar.
We're down the bar drunk.
Bought the bar drunk. I worked the bar drunk. I burnt
Burned
it
the
down
bar drunk.
Full circle.
The point
My
is,
best work
Yeah.
was done drunk.
my best and worst work were all while I'm drunk. It's I'm good is the point.
Okay, that's it. I'm adding a new personal truth. Just drunk.
Drunk.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Everything's better when you're drunk.
This perma drunk.
I'm constantly seeking it.
Oh Lord. Okay. All right. So next day, what's the game plan?
Head to work.
Yeah, I guess head to work.
Work. Okay.
We can steer clear of...
You weren't expecting that, were you?
What time does work start? Probably pretty prompt in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty
So
prompt.
I say we arrive early.
yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna basically skim through the workday unless there's anything specific you guys want to do.
Really, more than anything else, the big thing that I would be looking for is to see if anybody is giving us the eye. I'm expecting to have either some steer clear or at least some respect. Not anyone bowing down, but just a simple, comfortable. People don't look at us, or they look at us and they nod the head, whatever. Working off yard notoriety. Boy, say that 3 times.
Yep, and you've definitely got the yard notoriety. There are some that are definitely some are more. Ball Streeters aren't in that area.
We're not expecting deference from them.
No, they're not approaching you. There's a matter of fact,
Okay.
like one or two are given like this sort of like head tilt sort of.
And that's
thing.
it. That's it. If we're getting that, if we're getting a comfortable response from them, I don't want to mess with them.
Yep.
We leave them alone. Let them know that you stay on your side, and we'll stay on our side unless we're told to do otherwise.
Yep. The one, however, is still giving you death glares. He means he's got the blackened eye. He's got like the bashed in nose. His hair. It looks very clear that he's actually washed since the barrel, but his hair is still a little more oily than it was before. Before the dunking. So
Watching you.
yeah. Good old.
He had a name?
Yes, his name was Thomas Reynard.
No. I think I wrote that down. I just forgot
Well,
about
that
it.
name is familiar. Maybe I wrote it down too. Yep, I did.
Yep, that's the guy who you thoroughly thrashed.
It's Barrel Guy.
Yep.
Put in their place.
Yep. Put in his place. He's still unhappy with you guys. Most of the other people in there are kind of not necessarily giving you wide berth. Some people are giving you like a jovial "good morning" kind of thing. And but otherwise, most talk. Once you're into the middle of work, it's rough work. You're in the middle of it.
Sure, that makes sense. You know what? I don't know enough about what the workday is, and I don't want you to go ad infinitum explaining it. But if there is a point at which
Good thing I have a full chart about
I can be seen as being helpful to anyone. In addition to the duties that I'm doing, I'm going to try and find opportunity to help somebody in brown and red, and then help somebody in brown and blue, and then again somebody brown and red.
Okay.
Even if it crosses me with a guard, I don't know that that's what I would call him, but an overseer who clouts me. I want both sides to see that I am giving equally.
Okay. So how do you plan to do that? I'm just trying to figure out a
Let me
skill and
see.
a
I'm
style
going to go.
here.
I'm going to survive. And
I'm gonna fight
well,
cleverly.
no. I'm thinking in terms of what you're saying. I'm trying to do it with with an eye to. This is potentially going to ingratiate my character to both sides, or at least show both sides that what happened earlier, I'm not suddenly a hatter, but I'm also, and I'm not against the Bottle Street, but the opposite side as well. So
Okay. I got that. Okay.
I would almost go survive cleverly if it were me.
I wasn't kidding with survive.
Yeah,
mean,
no,
it's
I
completely
got
up
it
to
with
you.
yeah, I can agree with survive on there. You're definitely showing, survival instincts. And
My
certain
objective
aspect
is, if I'm looking at it, and this is not my best style, but boldly,
Yeah.
I want it to be seen.
Yes, you definitely want it to be seen. You want it to be noticed. So I would go with survive boldly.
All right, here we
And
go.
oh yeah, I forgot. We're in a new scene here, so one momentum's gone. However, you can spend momentum for more dice. You can also spend a void point in order to change, to introduce a new truth. You do have your notoriety, so if I will decrease that difficulty down by 1.
That's fantastic. I have 2 successes. I don't, sadly enough, don't see a focus of mine that would help, which is too bad because I have a 2 and a 4.
Well, you reduce that difficulty from 2 to 1, so you got 1 momentum back.
Excellent.
So, it's definitely noticed. You're going between them. You're helping out a hatter. You help out a streeter. Going back and forth here and there and stuff like that. It's definitely noticed. And, I mean, given the fact that you've got that notoriety, no one's questioning it. Even if they might have probably done so, it's like, what the frick are you doing? You're new here. You don't just cross the lines like that. But
And
given
that's
the
what
fact
I'm banking on.
exactly,
I'm new here.
exactly. Well, you're not. Well, it's not only that, but the fact that you've proven yourself. No one's messing with you.
Good. Mm-hmm. Aside from that, though, I don't have anything else. Either of you guys for the yard?
No, not really. I just want to.
So,
Your skim and scam.
yeah. Now, am I at this low level, this kind of starting position? Am I anywhere even close to working with the actual oil itself? Because I don't know if it needs to be. We need to take a blubber and it be refined. Is there any chance of me even?
You just grab it off the rack and squeeze it
Yeah.
like
You
a
need-
sponge.
You need to grab the blubber so it can be refined. So, I mean, it's hard not to pass at least some area where there's blubber or oil in some measure or capacity going on. It probably wouldn't be that difficult for you to get access to the oil. It's just a matter of how careful you want to be as far as, how you're skimming this off.
Yeah. So if I say we're to take a small chunk of blubber, in order for that, you can't just heat that up and then extract the oil from it, can you? Is there a process to?
There is a process.
And if you need me to roll to know that process,
Yes, I will have you do a tinker,
Okay.
because this is a tinker cleverly.
All right. Depending on what I roll, I may have some focuses to help us.
You have
Oh,
explosives.
1.
Nice.
So
and you have
That's-
explosives.
So
That's
so explosives, engineering, and natural philosophy. I don't know if natural philosophy would.
It does
But
fall under the
engineering-
science.
well, engineering would know the process, I guess.
Yeah, you've got
Yeah.
all of them.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I mean, especially if you want to know how to make it explosive, you want to know how to engineer this stuff, and you want to know like the properties with the natural sciences of how whale oil is applied and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, one way or another, you got it. That is definitely two successes on the one die.
So that's 2 successes, and then I get a focus, which gives. I forgot what the focus
The
is.
focus says that number or less. So if
Yeah.
your focus is a 5, if you roll a 5 or less, it's the same as a 1.
But what does it give me? Extra successes? I
Yes.
forget.
Yes.
So it's like, so normally if you were like, let's say you're rolling something without a focus, if you roll a 1, that's 2 successes. If you roll something with your but any other roll, it's only 1 success unless it's below. If you roll like, as you said, let's say your explosive's what, 4?
Yes.
So if you rolled 4, 3, 2, or 1, all of those would have counted as 2 successes.
Same
Okay,
as
they
if
all
they were
count
rolled
as
a 1.
2. They count. That was it. Okay, that's your range for exploding. That was it. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Or
Not exploding.
Critical.
Yeah. So anyway,
I swear, I asked my RPG game the other day, can you give me a cognition check? And they all look confused. From a completely different game.
And which game were you playing? Not Hell on Earth?
No, not Deadlands. It was 5e.
There you go. Did you mean perception? Which is automatic
Yeah.
and passive.
I goofed.
Moved hard. Well, I mean, I've had that happen. I've crossed my game wires and stuff like that. I've played and run in a lot of them, so there'll be times I go, "Oh yeah, you gain a condition here. You gain the blah blah blah," and they're like looking at me. I'm like, "All right, this isn't Chronicles of Darkness. This is, something else."
My worst time was going from Pathfinder to 5e. That was
God.
terrible. I was just, all kinds of messed up with the rules.
Oh, trust me, I was going all over the place. So now we go into the tangent phase of the session, in which it's just like, I remember when I first went from Pathfinder to 5th Ed, it was like remembering, it's like, aha, there's this, I'm going to do this action. I'm going to do a 5-foot step. There are no 5-foot steps in freaking 5th edition.
Yep.
And they're like, no, you have to do a withdraw action. I'm like, what? It's something that's been like so intrinsic for my career from 3.5 to Pathfinder, just not there anymore. What was I supposed to do? So,
It took my safety net away.
it took my 5-foot step away. Those bastards. Anyway.
So, with my 2 successes,
Oh, you got one added one to the momentum pool. Congratulations. But yeah, so it might take a while, but if you gathered enough, like if you took a small piece of blubber here, a small piece of blubber there, maybe by the end of the week you could have like a decent sized ball that, if you condensed it enough, could make about yay amount of oil.
okay.
So it 4 inches tall in what, a tube? In a cup?
So like
A
a
Berlin-Meyer
decent
flask?
amount.
About one of these glasses.
So a glass.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So 12 to 16 ounces.
I mean, yeah. So if I can,
Wait, so my question would be, because again, I don't know the game terms for all of this. Would it be better for him to skim processed oil, or do we not even have access to that?
Well,
Where we're at?
that one would be more likely I'd be seen. I feel like.
Well, that's why I said the sneaky. Remember the tube sticking out of your elbow, those kind of things.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on how you want to go about it. Because, I mean, if you do your own... Well, the problem then comes down to, how do you refine your own whale oil?
Right, exactly.
It might not be to the same quality as here, where they have all the machines that are stuff going. You'll basically... I hate to put it, you'll be making your own meth lab.
Right? There we go. All right,
whale
we
oil.
stop
There
it.
it
We know
is.
exactly which way
All right.
Pedro's going.
Okay. So yeah, and
Rubber press. Ka-dunk.
do they check us as we leave?
Unless they have reason to suspect
Yeah.
you. No, not really.
Yeah. So then I think my
Plus, you put the blubber in your unmentionables. Even if they did a check, they'd be like, "Oh, you should get that checked."
So, smuggling 2 eggs, a sausage, and some blubber down there.
Not a.
It's a condition.
Yeah. It's a condition.
The one day it's like you think they finally catch it. They're like, "Hey man, we noticed you keep pissing your pants. It's looking real bad, man." Just
I'm sorry. So I walk away and blow this whole damn place to the sky.
But in all seriousness,
Yeah.
so are you planning on doing the gut blubber?
Yeah,
blubber
I
operation?
think my general idea is to just skim small pieces, and just have a chunk of it at the end of the week.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you do.
I have to roll?
Do you want to, or do you want to chunk it and periodically? So again, we're not bringing sack lunches or anything. We're eating there. So do you want to cut pieces and all three of us are bringing it home? This is all right. So this is not like carrying around nitro, right?
Right.
We
No.
don't drop the
Yeah.
blubber and boom.
No. That's not how that's gonna happen.
Oh, I forgot that part about
Right. Everybody keeps driving into the whale and
The reason the bladders were explosive was because of all the
gases.
natural gases.
No,
in
I
there.
get it,
The
I get
blubber's not going to explode.
Leviathans are just living landmines. They just...
little deposits of explosion.
Tonight at 11, 3 more ships go up in the bay.
Whaling a dangerous industry.
Hey, you know, man.
Harpoon! God darn it! Another one!
You gotta catch the pieces.
Well, you know, in every video game, there's that one enemy that just run around as a little suicide bomber. It's just like, why do you exist? Who thought that this was a good idea for a natural creature to just run around exploding?
I said that's the outsider right there, laughing his butt off.
Watch this.
Yeah. We'll make it explosive and they'll still go for it. It's gonna ruin lives and they'll still go for it.
So anyway, do you wanna snip pieces and have each of us, Angus and myself, and you all bring little pieces in?
I guess I could, yeah.
Is there anything special to snipping? I mean, is it a situation where all of us could snip it on our own? It's going to be a little bit harder to transfer from Norton to each of us versus each of us kind of, rolling a piece up our sleeve or into a pocket. I just don't know. No, that won't work.
I imagine what I'd want to do to try and be as inconspicuous as possible is if I'm in the process of cutting them up. Cutting out. I'm imagining you're cutting off chunks, putting it on carts, having it moving and all that stuff. Making it an imperfect cut, cutting off a chunk, and then accidentally dropping it, or slapping it down, making sure oil's getting all on my sleeve. Just to be able to better hide things. So.
Excuse me. Sorry, I'm getting some pretty bad hiccups.
You guys have sleeves?
Yes, Angus, we didn't cut ours off.
It's a tank top. We're working.
We're working in oil. We're up to our necks in blubber.
Yeah, you idiot, as I go to light my cigarette.
God, what's terrible is I'm envisioning from the Popeye movie with Robin Williams, that kind of just horrifically downtrodden, just dismal town. That's what we're working is fisheries from the East Coast in the 1800s.
Oh, excuse me. So,
You need a moment, Michael?
yeah, let's take a 5 just so I can get these hiccups under control.
Very good.
All right. So, where was I before I had to take care of that?
I think we were finishing up. We were discussing the
The
whale
blubber.
oil.
Yeah.
blubber.
How are we going to
And-
get that blubber and derail to is it explosive? No, not in its raw form. But
The question was the piecemealing.
yeah. How
Should
can we?
all of us be taking chunks? Should he be taking the chunks and passing it? I don't know if you want him to make a roll, but which do we envision is the best?
That's a good question. I'm going to leave that up to you guys. Now, I'm going to actually, I wanted to go over real fast on just a reminder of how you can spend momentum. And,
Yeah, if I'm doing any sort of cutting a blubber, I might need to spend that momentum because I have no skill with
All right,
that.
but you're not. None of us have skill in cutting blubber.
Yeah, but it's gonna be.
You have
you
blubber
do.
skill?
You've been in a freaking prison that was working on it. I'm just kidding.
That's the way I'm
We
thinking.
have one solid day of experience.
That is how artificially we create skills in the game. I have blubber extraction as a new skill.
That's your new focus. Congratulations.
It's more legitimately, I need to cut a specific amount that I can hide away.
Right.
And so it,
Well, I imagine it was me who was going to be doing the cutting and then.
Well, that's what I'm
giving.
asking.
Yeah. I think the less of us doing stuff, the better. If one of us gets caught, then at least the whole
Right.
thing isn't blown. So I think it'd be better if I just cut a small
And then
piece.
you just drop it to us.
I mean, because conceivably we're going to be doing this job for a while.
Right.
So.
Right.
So, spending momentum, you can use it to buy D20s. We've already talked about this. That's pretty much the most well-known one. One for the first one, total of 3 for the second one, 6 for the third one. Is
Yeah. 1, 2, 3 for each of them in a row.
yeah,
Got it.
exactly. So that's the easiest one. You can create a truth. You can add, remove, or change facts about the scene called truths. By spending 2 momentum to establish a new truth, change a truth, or remove one currently in play. The truths created must be related to the skill test you've just made, and it must be something that could naturally result from your actions, and the GM should agree if it can be created or changed.
You've just made, meaning to say that you change the truth after you make the skill roll.
Mm-hmm.
That's intriguing.
Yeah.
And you can ask a question. You can spend 1 momentum to ask the Game Master a question about the scene. The Game Master will give you a truthful answer according to what your character would be able to discover in the situation and from that skill test, and the answer may not be a complete one. You can always spend momentum to ask a question, wait for the answer, and then spend more for additional questions. Obviously, I'm maybe more general, like this is about the world and stuff like that. If there's one that I might call for that might require momentum or something like that, I'll ask for it. So.
Okay.
But anyway, then of course there's the chaos pool. You can add chaos pool. You can buy bonus d20s by adding to the chaos pool if you want. It's like, oh,
But still a maximum roll of 5. The 2 you have, no matter how you get them, you can only get 3 more.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Complications with the GM's permission. Whenever you suffer a complication, which is, things I can come up with if you fail a roll or, you critically fail because of that 20. You can always add 2 chaos to the pool instead of me having to come up with a negative truth. And chaotic actions or circumstances might cause chaos to be added to the pool. So,
Okay.
like skimming from the top.
Oh, I can just spend chaos for that? Okay, just take a
No. Getting it. But then I get to use then I can use chaos to buy d20s for the NPCs, create a truth after an NPC roll, or prevent players from creating a truth as a result of an NPC complication. So I sort of get some momentum abilities based on that.
So if we can create a truth, and you can spend chaos to negate it, can we then spend momentum to recreate it? I mean, eventually we'll lose.
Yeah. I mean,
But I'm
especially
saying,
if you're
could
looking at
we?
my pool right now.
Sure. But I'm saying, is that
That
within
is a
range?
possibility. We
Okay.
can always remember it's like I have to approve of a truth anyway. So it's like sort of like, well, okay. I can see that. Or it can be this creative like sort of knockdown effect of like, oh yeah, this happens and then it just goes to this. It becomes this like Rube Goldberg sort of moment of like, oh, it goes from one way and then so luckily the water fell on the fire before it caught fire on the thing. And of course void points. You can spend a void point to re-roll any number of d20s in your dice pool during a skill test. Taking the second result, you can't re-roll or re-roll. Create truth, immediately change, or remove a truth in the scene. These kinds of true story declarations should make sense to the story, though they can come in the form of flashbacks or from a supernatural source, and the Game Master has final say over whether the suggested detail is valid. The momentum ones have to relate to a skill roll you just made in some capacity. This one, you just create, this truth is happening now. And then, of course, critical success. You treat one of your die as if you had rolled a 1 with focus, even if you don't have one that applies, giving you 2 automatic successes. And yep, that's pretty much void.
And momentum.
Yep,
All right.
Momentum, and of course chaos.
So back to the question, which was, does he think, and I think that's what we're going with, does Norton think that him cutting and passing us is the best route? So what I envision all of us are working on the Leviathan. Is he cutting and I'm in transport and Angus is in, I don't know, beating the blubber? I don't know. But like, are we all in
I'm not a retard.
Tenderizing the blubber.
Are we all doing different things? Is that kind of the way you're envisioning it, Michael? Okay.
Yeah, there's different parts of it. You might not do the same job necessarily every day,
Sure.
but you're definitely probably getting at least like put certain sections on there. If they're seeing it's like, oh yeah, you're definitely, especially with Angus, you're definitely like the stronger person, so you're probably doing a lot more of the heavy lifting than most people and stuff. So there are certain jobs that you'll be in. You're working a lot more with the machinery, Norton. Desmond, especially since you've been running a lot of errands around and stuff like that between places. I mean, you're fast tracking to getting noticed in some positive ways. So you're definitely a go between in a number of like different departments and stuff. Working your way towards management, I see.
There we go.
Soon you'll be a supervisor.
I was thinking again, and I've been thinking the last couple of days between the games here. I've been really thinking about the possibility of do we take out Greaves at the top and move one of us in the position quietly, like I said, and run it. So, yes, I have definitely thought in those terms.
I think that would be ideal, especially if we can get our hands on those designs.
Right. I mean, the big problem still comes from the fact of, is that me and what I would do, or is that something that Desmond could even realistically do? I mean, I don't. As far as the explorer background, am I, as an explorer, I understood that I am going away from the main isles that we're in. Are we going? Am I exploring other continents, islands, etc., that have greater technology, different religions, etc.? Okay.
Yep.
Then yeah, I can envision him moving himself into a management or ownership position. So okay. All right. Sorry. Tangent.
Yep. All right.
So yeah.
So the question is, what are you wanting to do? It's sounding like you're more leaning towards the fact like, it's just got to be me, because otherwise, if it's going to be more of us, that's more of a chance to get caught.
Yeah. I think me best.
Okay. So
me do best.
Because this is like a very stealthy thing. So you're like, how are you planning on sneaking out, and like about how much each day are you trying to catch?
Just a small chunk.
Like,
I imagine
golf ball.
Yeah, probably golf ball sized.
Okay, gotcha.
Let's say that.
See, that's what I was thinking. Is if you're talking golf ball size, we could all carry out a golf ball. Even a softball.
Probably. So let's do this. Start with me at least a day. See if I'm
see
able
if they have blubber detectors on the way out. Right.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Oh crap!
I'm sorry, Norton. It looks like you've gained 3 ounces while working here. We're gonna need to strip search you.
So here's what I'm gonna have you do. I'm gonna have you roll. You're gonna roll move, because you're having to move things.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have you roll. So how are you planning on doing this?
I'm trying. So I would like to do it cleverly.
And how so?
I hate that question, Michael.
Explain to me how you plan to be clever with this operation.
Well, I'm trying to manage. Yeah. Well, my objective is if I'm working on. Am I working on the machine? I'm working on the machinery, right? So are there conveyor belts and stuff? There's not security cameras, right? We're not that advanced.
No, there's no security.
Now, I guess I should say, the supervisors. Is there always somebody watching every little section?
Yard boss.
Yeah,
there are yard bosses and stuff like that. They're not. Yeah. So, but there's not always. Yeah.
I got an idea. what I would like to do is, since I'm a tinkerer, I would like to, as I work on an area away from, say, a conveyor belt I'm working on where the blubber's going by, I would like to cause an issue, like maybe unscrew something over on a machine a little bit away, something I know will cause the supervisor to need to go look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Or that's my attempt, at least.
Okay.
I want to try to create a distraction, something easily fixable, not detrimental, just something that would cause a distraction.
Gotcha. I would normally put Tinker in there, but since you're still having to move the blubber and stuff,
Yeah.
I'm still going to go with move, but I will allow Cleverly be able to
Okay,
do that.
cool. I'm going to spend a momentum.
Okay.
Because
Do you want to spend 3?
I could, yeah.
Okay, that'll give you 4 dice.
And I'm going to spend 1 chaos
So
to give myself 3 dice.
that's not good. That's not good. Okay, so 120. But that was the other one was a success.
And 4 more. 2 more. Come on.
These. Oh shoot. God dang it. No, I think move cleverly is a 9.
You want to spend any void points?
I was gonna say I could spend a void point, and the void point would let me succeed.
Would let you automatically make one of those rolls a 1. So make the 20 a 1.
Yeah. Can I do that?
Yep.
Okay, I will spend a void point to make the 20 a 1.
Okay.
So that's
Success.
3
3
successes.
which is good. You just beat the supervisors by 1.
Excellent. Okay. So, cause a distraction, almost fumble that horribly, and then get a little piece.
Yep. And you do manage to get away with this, and I'll say this is good for going on for a little while.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. One momentum since you beat them by 1.
Why is it every day at the same time this darn machine breaks?
Whose shift is this on?
On the downside, the yard boss figures it out. He's like, 306, it goes down at 311. I'm heading down there right now.
All right. So by the end of the week, they're in blubber. Angus, is there anything you want to do in the yard or the workplace while this is going on?
No, forget. I want to talk to some of the Bottle Street guys.
Okay. You want to go talk to some of us, see guys what about?
We're not there supervising.
So
No,
I
we're not.
heard
This could be scary.
from the grapevine that there's maybe some competitions down in the sewers for someone that can handle themselves.
Okay, I see where you're going with here. Okay. You how do you plan to talk to them? Because this is definitely talk. But how are you going? Hey, so I heard something. Are you talking boldly? Because it's like, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm
I don't know.
Big stretching.
I don't know if you noticed, but
Kissing
I
his-
kicked your
kissing
boss's
his
arse
bicep.
the other day.
You want to go that way? Are you being more careful? And it's like, hey, I heard on the down low.
So
how are you
I'm
planning?
I'm gonna go boldly on this.
Okay,
Just
okay.
straight up. Hey, I'm looking for somewhere to fight. I heard you guys got some place down in the sewers that I could throw hands at somebody.
Go ahead and do a talk boldly then.
How did this? That's not. Whatever. You know what?
God.
Bit of water.
One of us needs to be over there with a fan.
Right.
I've got 1 success.
You got 1 success?
There
Okay.
we go.
Well, that's enough. They're like, they sort of look you up and down. They look over at...
Well, mostly down.
They'll look over at Thomas, who's kind of giving you like a glare from across the yard, but he's having to focus on other things. And they're like, okay, yeah, you're Agnes, right?
It's Angus, you son of
That's Thomas right there. Telling everybody.
Sure it is, sweetheart. Okay. All right, Agnes. If you're really wanting to go into the fighting ring with your little old lady name, we might be able to get you set up for something. End of the week. End of the week. Meet meet me out by. He gives you some directions to where to meet him by.
Okay.
And
That's good because I don't know where that is.
That street.
And who's telling him that? Is that Thomas or one of the
other bottle streeters?
Okay, all right.
I'll give a little look to Thomas as I walk away. I don't know, man. I just wanted some info. I feel like I'm doing something in this game.
All right, that's
And my name's Angus!
Sure it is, sweetheart.
Oh my god. Okay,
the human
cool.
spider with spiders. It's all you got.
That's not the name.
The good old freaking. Oh. Yeah, as much as you look back at those ones, I mean, it was, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies really started putting the Marvel movies on the map.
Yeah,
really.
it absolutely put them on the map. They're bankrupt before that first movie came out.
Not to say that there weren't a number of other like superhero movies that weren't good or anything like that before Spider-Man, but really, but let's face it. I mean, the Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire was like the precursor to when Iron Man and the whole thing just exploded. So
Yeah, even like the first 1 and 2 of the Tobey Maguire ones I thought were fine movies. It's just the third one that just kind of lost it.
the third one that doesn't exist.
I don't know. There was a third one. I whenever I think about it, I just get this flashing image of slicked back hair and a black
that
suit,
dancing scene.
and then I black out for a minute and then I come back and I don't know what we're talking about.
Hey kid, look into this pen.
Yeah.
Third movie? I don't remember a third movie.
Me to myself every day.
Every
time I look into the mirror, I think about it for a moment.
Every once in a while, I remember they made a live action Avatar movie, and I have an aneurysm. So.
Mild heart attack.
Yeah. Bang my head against the wall, and I lose that brain cell.
Dude.
Oh yeah, you remember Sokka, the freaking comic relief of the show? Yeah, he's a serious character now. He's got some real baggage.
Make him edgy. Edgy.
They took a cue from the Batman movies.
Oh yeah. You know how there's this great development between Sokka and the girl, his girlfriend who's going to become the Moon later. You know how they develop that over episodes and stuff like that. Yeah. Well, we're just going to give an overall narration and just have them walking down about how they're feeling about each other.
How much coke were they doing in that room?
And his name is Ong.
This is so great.
Are you sure that's how these were pronounced in the TV show? I don't know, probably.
There was a TV show?
What am I, a kid? I don't watch that crap.
Once we're done, I'll have to show you the pitch meeting episode on that one because it's freaking hysterical.
God. If it's the guy who I think it is.
It's super easy, barely an inconvenient. Oh, Lord.
Oh, we're so good.
Kinda.
Yeah, we're approaching there.
Yeah.
I can go for a little bit longer.
Yeah, just a little bit longer.
Alright, now we
So
gotta...
then for the rest of the week, what I imagine, I don't know if we're gonna skip, but I imagine for the rest of the week, Norton and why can't I? Desmond, thank you. Where am I? Oh, it's right here. Desmond are definitely going to be scouting out granaries, and then
I got information on where to go for the fight pits.
That's excellent.
What I think Angus should do is during that week, I think what we are scouting out during... Oh, wait. After we get off, there's going to be some date times left.
Yeah.
So we're doing that. You should be talking to Marika and just seeing if there is what needs to be done. If anybody needs help, just offer to help out around the town. Because you're big, you're strong, you can help fix things.
And you'll be noticed.
And you'll be noticed.
2 of those 3 things were correct.
Big and you're strong and you can fix things?
Yeah, I'm big and I'm strong. I don't fix things.
Okay, well, you can help
You do
people.
have some tinker.
So go talk to Marika, see where she can send your big, strong muscles to help the town, to help the community. Offer to help the community.
If you say so.
I do say so.
That is what I'm talking about.
Yes.
All right, so let's start with Angus. Talking to Marika and getting an idea of what needs to be done, what could be helpful around town is not hard. There's a lot that could be used, and it's not just building things. Some of the communities just need she just needs hands sometimes just to be able to hand out what food there is available, even though you are getting to see firsthand, if you go that route, how low the grain stores actually are. You can actually like help build things like repair houses and stuff. You might even be able to do certain other things. There's some people who are just like, you might do like sort of like help work out with the neighborhood watch or something like that, because bottle streeters, dead eels, and even the guards are not necessarily things. So having like helping coordinate part of the neighborhood watch might not be a bad thing. Or you can think of any number of thing that would be like a community service sort of like action that you want to do for the week. What would you like to do, and how would you like to go about it?
I want to take out those eels.
You want to take out the eels?
Watch. That's a good idea. You can get some information.
You want to take out the eels? Okay, so we can go about those eels. So, how do you want to go about taking out the eels?
I don't know. I need to figure out who the heck they are first.
Good point.
I know they're in the sewers. I think they bother pretty much everybody. I think they bother hatters mostly, if I remember right.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about
You were pretty drunk, that's for sure. But
I remember that there were eels and we need to take them out. I think.
After spending an hour on the river punching eels, I realized this was not what they meant.
Eric the eel! What an unexpected surprise! Oh no, Ernie the eel! Ernie the eel sounds a lot better.
Is that like the leader of a little gang of eels?
You see, I've gone through many nemesis, including Ollie the orca and Henry the humpback, and I realized that most of them end up being part of the oil industry. So I decided that ultimately I needed to go with something a little smaller. So I decided a little eel nemesis would be better.
And now he has a little top hat.
I wanted to go with Morton the Moray, but
So after you defeat the gang of eels, you realize that it's not that eel. Yeah, I'm imagining definitely it's impressive how they're snapping. That's the intimidation part. Just the little ends of their tails curled and making a snap. You don't know how because they're slimy, but
So I just walk out 2 eels in hands.
dead eels.
I'm so sorry. This is the session of where the most derailing conversations happen.
But we're having a good time, and I think that's what matters.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Actually, who the heck are these dead eel people?
Yeah, that's a good question. How about you can make a roll, or you can spend a you can spend a momentum to ask me that question. I'll give you information based off that if you want more information.
We're okay with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let me pull up the dead eels.
But yeah, she said I told her.
So the dead eels. Pirates and smugglers, the dead eels are notorious predators on the water anywhere near Dunwall. Their operations aren't limited to the Heights Seeds or the Warrenhaven, however. Through the river hunt districts, they run prostitution, provide muscle, and take a cut of every gambling profit made. Those in their territory who deny them their protection money have a habit of just their clothing never ever being seen again. Yeah, just their clothing ever being seen again. The rest of them,
It's fine.
not so much. When met with direct force, It's one of those ones where it's like they've been beaten back before. They just tend to flow into a different area. So it is possible that you could probably crack a few skulls and navigate them and make them realize, now there's too much heat in this area. We'll just move somewhere else. So that isn't a bad way to go. That isn't a bad way to go around it. However, you could also bring their presence to the attention of some more authority figures, like people who are in more of the dock areas, like the midshipmen or something along those lines. It's just a matter of how you want to go about it. If you want to go crack some skulls, you definitely can.
I mean, I'm not really up for all that fancy smancy, let someone else do my fighting thing. So even if it's by myself, I'll go crack a couple skulls.
Okay.
Or if it's with this watch that I'm trying to bring together.
Okay, so let's say you
I
can
hope
bring
you have uniforms. Oh, there's red. That's right.
If you're gonna
That's right.
do
There
a
are
clear
uniforms.
watch. So how are you gonna get your neighborhood watch together to go fight some eels?
Well, do I know of any places that have been hit particularly hard by the eels?
Well, mostly they've been patrolling down the underground sewers and stuff like that, and that's really been the main issue, is being able to get, like, the people who are displaced need to be transported and stuff like that. So really you need to clear them out of the sewers.
Okay.
And it's been mostly impacting the Hatter community.
Hatter community? Okay. Well, then I am gonna change tactic here a bit. I'm gonna go talk to the lady that we're staying with, because she's one of the lieutenants. Marika. And I'm gonna see if she's willing to lend any hands to me to possibly push these guys out, or at least put a
Hands.
Not really sure why.
As she's busy working on cleaving up a lamb that someone had. Anyway.
I can't use any metaphors in this game, I swear.
Although her cutting up a lamb is perfect. I said, oh, sure. Go.
There you go. So you approach her. She's like, "Yes, how may I help you?"
I've heard that you've had some trouble with some eels down in the sewers.
Well, who doesn't have trouble with the eels in the sewers?
Well, I was wondering if there would be a chance you could lend me a couple guys, and I might be able to at least get them to move on from here for a bit.
What makes you think I might have any influence in lending you people?
Well, you're certainly given a lot of a certain group of people a hand here in your granary. You know, is she by any chance wearing colors?
She is not.
Ah, darn.
Which is why you didn't realize she was a lieutenant in the first place.
All right, fair enough. Is there someone nearby that has the colors?
There are a few, not all of them, but no, most of them just seem to be displaced community members.
Mhm.
There's one or two people that are wearing the colors, but that's about it. There's not a lot.
I know a lot of I've seen a couple guys here sporting a certain set of colors.
People wearing colors or no colors doesn't matter too much to me. When you have a community that needs help is given.
And I'm willing to lend a hand. I don't mind running down to those sewers by myself and busting a couple heads, but it'd be nice to at least have one other guy by my side.
Well, there might be a few other who have your fighting spirit, so you might want to talk to them. I myself have no one to lend.
Any chance you could point me in the direction of those people?
She sort of gives a general gesture towards
Everybody?
Yeah.
Flinging blood off the end of it.
It accidentally makes a red streak on her. Gotcha.
But yeah, she gives a general gesture towards some of the people. There are definitely people from definitely Morley, some of more different areas in life. some older, some stronger, younger looking men, some women as well who seem pretty much that they could handle themselves as well. You might be able to convince a few of them to take a patrol. So,
Well, if I can, I want to focus on getting the Hatters with me.
okay.
Trying to show support towards them because I feel like that's who we were starting with, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair enough. So I'm gonna just say, hey, look, I'm starting up a patrol. We're gonna be working in the sewers, possibly looking to maybe get the eels to move on a bit.
Okay. Then I think that might be a talk boldly.
Well, I've got one success.
Excellent. That's enough to convince at least 3 other people to go. 1 Hatter, 2 regular individuals to go with you. So here's what I'm going to have you do. Man, you guys have no more momentum at the moment here. So here's what I'm going to have you do. It's going to be simple to get there. You're going to have to at least take out. You're going to have to take out a certain number of patrols to meet the criteria here to have taken to drive them away. So. So you're gonna do we're gonna do this like on a. I'm assuming you're gonna go on like. Are you gonna go every night, every other night? What's your plan here?
I'm thinking every night until I think they're got the message.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you do a roll each night to see how well you do.
Okay.
So let's do your first night. Go ahead and I'm gonna just say this is probably gonna be fight forcefully as you're just
Pretty much.
wanting to smash skulls here. So
I've got 2 successes.
okay. Cool. Go ahead on to the next night.
You guys cool if I spend that momentum right away?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's 1 success. 2 successes.
Okay.
3 successes technically.
3
Yep.
successes. Woohoo.
There we go, building up some momentum.
And go ahead and do it one more time.
I'll go ahead and spend 1 of those again. Uh-oh. I got 2 successes.
Nice.
Excellent. So, night 3, and you guys start getting real good at it. And stuff like that. Just start
I like
cracking
that.
some skulls.
I can't
And
pop my
eventually-
knuckles, but I pop my knuckles.
And you go, I mean, you do your patrol the next few nights here and just making sure. But once you start really cracking down, the eels start, they make their way around. You've achieved at least one of the goals. Congratulations. And as a matter of fact, I'd say you've achieved 2. You've actually done some community service by bringing a community together, making neighborhood watch. I'm assuming you're try to make this a little more organized for neighborhood watch sort of stuff here. So
Yeah.
congratulations. 2 birds with 1 stone.
Nice.
Excellent. So
Yeah.
now it's on to the granary.
Thinking about a symbol for our neighborhood watch.
So on to the granary, and we'll do at least the granary run here before we try to end the night here. So,
Sounds good.
so you guys are doing your patrols around the granaries. So, what are you looking for? What are you 2 looking for as far as that stuff's concerned?
I think what we'd be looking for is, well, what I'm thinking is probably what kind of security.
Yep.
Look for one with the least amount of security, like visible from the outside.
Okay.
See if we can. I don't know if we'd be able to tell, like, what kind of stores they have from the outside, but at least if we can see one like being careless or something, like, oh look, there's a whole freaking silo right there that's visible. Some I don't know how they're storing it. Point is, looking for security,
Lighting.
lighting.
Can we get away? Can we bring something to drag the prey in without being seen?
Yeah, man. Should we look for like? Should we scout maybe? Well, how many other granaries are there?
That's a very good question here. You might want to spend like there's quite a bit. So.
Yeah, let's I'll spend. So I kind of want to ask around a little bit amongst the Hatters. I think.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, the safe, what I would consider the safe people to ask. Kind of like, how many granaries, what granaries?
Yeah, there's, it's not really so much a district and stuff. As with most things with, like, the booming economy of the city and stuff like that, there are, like, granaries aren't necessarily, like, associated with, like, the farmlands and stuff anymore. It's all major storage warehouses.
It's
and
a
stuff
holding
like that.
silo. The granaries are a holding silo.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep, exactly. So lots of farmers from outside the city bring their stuff. Their goods are pretty much stored in there and stuff like that. Blah blah blah. Some places there's not necessarily any set districts for these. Obviously, the distillery district. Well, there's a lot more in the distillery district because a lot of them are distilling them to be put into booze. Some of them, not always. So it's just a matter of pick your poison. Are you going for one of the major ones, which are like, sending up their barley and stuff to be put into the distilleries, or are you going to be looking for one of the ones that have more that have to do with the food? Those ones are far less population, but there's a decent number. It's not like you're going to go. It's not like it's hard to find one. It's just a matter of which type are you trying to find.
Less guarded, not as well lit.
So it sounds like the distilleries are probably going to be the more highly guarded ones.
Probably.
So we'll look for do the food ones go to the people of this area, or to...
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Are we stealing from our own?
What I want to know is there one that maybe goes towards, more nicer parts as opposed to ones that sell towards this?
That one's going to require probably a roll.
Okay.
How do you want to try and gather that information?
And I'm sorry, in my memory correct that I can assist?
You can assist. It's 1d20 on that.
Talk carefully.
Carefully?
I want to try and do it, carefully.
Okay.
I don't want to,
Cool.
And I do the same roll?
Yep. Yeah.
You do one.
No successes from me.
I got one success.
One success. Okay. So it's hard to say at first. It takes a little bit, but you do manage to find that there are a few that export to outside the area.
Okay.
They're more on the outskirts of the of this particular sort of things, which farther away from where you want to go, but at the same time, if you do steal from them, it's not going to be a direct impact to the people that are living in the distillery district.
Okay. Well, one nice thing is if the sewers have been cleared of the eel gang, they've moved on. Mm-hmm. These sewers run throughout the entire city. We find a sewer line that can lead from, our place to the distillery or the granary. We might be able to capture either sneak in, grab stuff, and leave, or maybe even catch like a shipment coming in. I don't know how heavily guarded those are. They might be heavily guarded, they might not be. Mm-hmm. I don't know if grain heist is big right now.
Well, it's going to be pretty soon.
Yeah. So that could be one thing. Spending like a night to see, because I'm guessing they I don't know. I would think maybe nighttime drop-offs would be something. Evening drop-off.
Depends on how they're coming in, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
So my biggest concern, if we're going to consider using the sewer, is going to be the dealing with the bottle street. I mean, everybody's going to want to have that grain.
Yeah, that's true. We might not even need to do that. We might just be able to cart it back, simply.
Right. Again, back to that. Start working on a trail. Mm-hmm. The dark trail.
Is it?
Less well lit.
Are there maps of the city? Like, could we get a map of the city?
Yep.
Okay. So probably, I'd want to see if there's a way to get a map, or if Marika has a map that I can kind of look over.
She's still using that cleaver on it.
I've been really at that.
Really at that lamb. Anyway.
Hey, Marika, got some. Let me see. Yeah, be straightforward. I'd heard that, in these trying times, we can all use a little bit more.
You're trying to sucker me in with a COVID company conspiracy here. You're barking up the wrong. I'm sorry. Sorry. It's like I've heard too many of those damn commercials. Sorry. Sorry. It's like in these trying times. It's just like, oh Lord. I'm sorry. This pandemic has ruined that phrase for me. I'm sorry.
No, that's fair.
Sorry.
In
Let's
these
back to it.
tough times, I'm thinking of trying to find a way to bring a little bit more grain and substance to the neighborhood. Do you happen to have a map? I have a little of the city. I need to.
She started giving you a look, and she sort of looks over at you. And it's like, well, yes, I have quite. I do. Well, she sort of looks over at this is probably the second night of patrols that this is happening on. She's like, okay, but yeah, she brings out a map. She brings out a map.
Map's overrated.
Do you mind if I borrow this for a bit? I'll bring it back.
By all means.
Okay. Yeah, and I want to, I'll spend some time, take it, go get like a, piece of paper myself. I'm sure I could. Well, actually, I don't know if I'll be able to, if it's that readily available. Paper and pencils. I don't know. I want to try and figure out the fastest path and make a mock map of it.
Go ahead and
Charcoal, yeah.
do a study carefully.
And you're gonna do it. You're doing an above ground.
Yes. For now, yeah. Success.
Okay. You're pretty certain you have a good route that you could go if you started to go in here outside, especially trying to keep in mind of, like, it's like, well, I know this is the quickest route, but when the question comes into your brain, is it the safest route?
Okay.
Especially with, gang lions and stuff like that. So
That's true. Okay.
City guard and all sorts of other issues. That Seward path isn't sounding so bad anymore.
Yeah. Oh, we could. No.
Is there a curfew? Is there a point at which we're walking around and people start
There has
looking
not
at
been.
us?
There has not been a curfew set. Though if this chaos gets any higher, maybe.
We've made it to 20 chaos curfew time.
Success.
Because what I'm thinking is it better to try and sneak it back? Should we bribe someone? Now, mind you, we don't really have much to bribe with.
That's one part of the issue without a doubt.
I mean,
You haven't even made it to the end of the work week. You haven't been paid yet.
I haven't been paid yet.
We do have a way. Think about this. Angus has been working on his night watch. There's a group we can work within. The watch has been seen on a regular basis, moving around. No one would question them.
That's true. Now, actually, well, what's the reception? Is the Bottle Street gang going to enjoy... I mean, well, you guys probably aren't necessarily fighting the Bottle Street gang.
No.
More like
if anything, I don't really think the Bottle Street gang would bother us.
Yeah.
We're essentially taking out a thorn in their side too. Yeah. So they probably wouldn't like that one of us is a hatter, but still, they probably wouldn't bother us too much.
Yeah.
You could at least travel with us until you guys get close to where you need to go, and then this is where you guys head off. There's a eel patrol that we're gonna go show what's for, but
the other thing is to make this actually worth something, we're gonna need to bring back a lot of grain.
Yep.
I mean, one bag's nice, but
no, that's what I was talking about. When we're looking at it, are we going to be able to bring back a wheelbarrow, a truck? I honestly don't know what we're working with here.
Well, I mean, the best would be if we could secure a shipment of it, but.
So he's just making this collection of whale blubber.
Oh my God.
Days go by.
I've got it. If we can figure out how to do it, we actually have the granary delivery rerouted. We've just got to figure out how to do that. It's going to take a little more work. If we could get the delivery rerouted over to Marika's, no questions.
That's true, unless they try to think about where if they find out where it was routed, but
I'm certain that were it to be delivered, it could disappear just as quickly.
That's true. Okay. I mean, that would ideally be as simple as changing a few ledgers, but some options. I like the idea of getting it rerouted. The question
It stays us out of any kind of attack, battle with other people. I like that a lot.
Okay. Now we just got to figure out how.
Yep. And I think based on the time,
Probably a good place.
Yeah,
probably a good
I'm
place.
dozing.
Yeah. So with that, I think we're gonna end this section, session 2, part 2. We're going to session 2, part 3, and the next time we meet up. Thank you all for playing. Time to do some XP stuff for you guys.
Yeah,
You
at
guys
this
have been-
rate, we're gonna be at like session 2, part like 6.
Yes. Don't you see, guys? This is where I was like, oh man, this is either gonna go real fast or this is gonna go real slow.
You took 2 birds with 1 stone, so kudos on you for
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. As a matter of fact,
Angus did something.
As a matter of fact, because of that, I'm probably going to give
Angus
you.
do good.
And because of that, I might give you a little
Angus
extra
is
XP.
bestest bodyguard. Best is Angus's new voice from now on.
Oh no! Oh no!
He's basically Lenny.
And I get to tend the rabbits, right? Yes. Oh, no.
You guys got to make me cry at 10 at night.
Ernie the eel! I did not expect it to.
Finally, we've done it. The Empire is secure. Nothing can step in our way now. You forgot about me, did ya?
Ernie the eel! What are you doing here?
I thought I kicked you out.
We killed you, Ernie. There's 1 scar over his eye.
No, he's cyborg.
He's cyborg.
He's a cyborg eel.
Leviathan oil cyborg.
Nothing can stop me now.
I've now evolved. I'm an electric eel. Little Jacob's ladders.
I have a little flashing light on my head as well.
You can go red or blue or green.
Such a rave light just going off on his head.
Thank you for listening to another NCRP Productions podcast. We value your support and would love to have you like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, all at NCRP Productions. You can also find our podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, or wherever great podcasts are found. We value your thoughts, so please don't hesitate to leave feedback and comments. And if you want to reach any of us directly, we are available at ncrpproductions@gmail.com.